So I did quite a bit of research on the top banks that pay the highest interest rates right now in 2022. And honestly, most of the high yield accounts out there had the same rate. And most of those right now were about 0.5%. But I did find a couple banks specifically that were upwards of 1%. So I'm going to talk about those first, and then I'll talk about the other banks that did make my list. So hopefully this video will go by pretty quick for you guys. Now, I do understand that current rates are not even close to what they were just a few years ago, but at least they are starting to creep back up. So if you do have some money that you're just saving for a rainy day, or maybe you're saving up for a house or a car, and you're probably going to use that money within the next 5 years, then I would definitely stick that money in a high yield account so that you can at least earn some interest rather than nothing. Because I can almost guarantee you, if you check the interest rate at your local bank account, you're probably earning close to zero interest on the money that you have in those accounts. And I also want to mention that CD rates are also going up as well. So if you ever want to lock in your money for a certain amount of time, then you can guarantee yourself a certain interest rate. It's not going to be super high, but it might be a little bit higher than what you can get in a high yield account, especially if you're not going to be doing anything with the money. Just keep it locked in for like 18 months, 36 months, and you can earn a higher yield on those CD accounts. So definitely do some research on those if you guys are interested in locking in your money. So the first bank account that I want to talk about goes to T-Mobile Money, and I had no idea that T-Mobile, the cellular service company, actually had a really high interest savings account and checking account. So the cool thing here is that you don't have to be a customer of T-Mobile in order to earn 1% on your money in their savings account. But if you do want to earn up to 4%, you do have to be a customer of T-Mobile, and it's only up to the first $3,000, and then they have a couple other rules that you have to follow. But that is extremely competitive, because if you just had a $3,000 savings account, that $3,000 could be potentially earning you 4%, which is about the highest that you can get anywhere. T-Mobile also advertises that they don't have any fees or minimum deposits, and the cool thing about most high yield savings accounts out there is that pretty much everybody that you're looking at, they're not going to have fees or minimum deposits, and if you do see a minimum deposit, it's probably about $100, and for some CD accounts out there, it's about $500. So honestly, it's not that hard to get into any of these companies, but T-Mobile specifically, this is what they're advertising right now. So if you want to start earning at least 1% on your money, then definitely check out T-Mobile Money, because they have one of the highest interest rates right now in 2022. Now, the next bank account that I want to talk about goes to SoFi, because these guys actually had the highest interest rate that I found out of all of the different banks out there. So we're talking all the high yield competition. SoFi was the best. Now, if you haven't heard of SoFi before, don't worry about that. They basically sell all sorts of different financial products. So we're talking personal loans, student loans, mortgages, mortgage refinancing, even investing. And they also have a savings and checking account with the highest yield that I found out there. Right now, SoFi's interest rate is 1.25%, so that pretty much beats all of the competition out there, including T-Mobile that I was just talking about. But keep in mind, in order to get 1.25%, you do have to set up direct deposit. That's pretty much their only rule. Now, if you don't set up direct deposit with them, they'll still pay 0.7%, which is extremely competitive considering most high yield accounts out there are about 0.5% right now. So 0.7 is still beating all of the competition out there. But if you do set up direct deposit, you can expect 1.25% with no limit on the money that you have in those accounts. And they also have a sign-up bonus right now where you can get up to $300 based on hitting different tiers with your direct deposit. So obviously just pay attention to that fine print, but if you are signing up with them, you can get up to a $300 bonus. SoFi also advertises that they don't have any fees or minimum account balances, so obviously these guys are extremely competitive as well. And like I said, there's no limit to getting the 1.25%. So if you do have a large chunk of change that's just sitting around, then definitely check out SoFi for their checking and savings account, because they have the most competitive interest rate that I've found out there. Now, the other banks that I'd recommend all have the exact same interest rate right now of 0.5%. Obviously, that has been creeping up a little bit over the last year and a half, but these banks are nationally known. So if you're not interested in checking out T-Mobile Money or SoFi, definitely check out American Express, Discover, Marcus, and Ally Bank. They are all exceptionally competitive. I happen to use American Express because it links right up to my credit card and it makes things very seamless. So definitely check out those companies if you're interested in looking at more high yield bank accounts. But just keep in mind right now, they aren't as competitive as the other two that I was talking about. And as far as risk goes, if you're worried about losing any of your money, all of these accounts are FDIC insured, but keep in mind that these interest rates are variable, so technically they could go down. But if we're following interest rates, the way that they normally happen is that they are in an upward trend right now. So hopefully you'll just make more on your money rather than less.